Hi, I'm Dr. Mike Jones, the Managing Director of Impact Minerals, ASX-listed explorer.
How you doing, Mike?
Very good, thanks, matey.
I'm
Great to see you in Perth.
Well, I know, right? Is this your home grounds? Is this?
Well, that's where we're based. Yeah, that's
right. Yeah, okay.
Like yourself, English, but originally, but yeah,
absolutely. Here we are, and there's a kind of conference on at the moment as well. The RIU Explorers. Have you been there yet?
Yes, we've got a booth there. I'll be speaking there tomorrow just to update everybody on what's going on. It's been massive this year, biggest year ever.
I was there yesterday.
20 years history.
Busy, but more importantly, I'm sure lots of suppliers trying to sell you stuff for the service companies, and lots of companies there as well. But investors, that's the bit we're interested in.
Yeah, look, Siri, who organises those events, does a great job of actually getting investors along. And I mean, the room was absolutely packed. Yes,
it was.
I mean, I've never seen anything quite like that. And whilst investors are important, you have to remember in our industry as well, there's lots of guys like me that are looking for stories, So actually to see them and meet the people, the other managing directors, the other CEOs, etc., and find out what's really going on, it's a great opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I think so. That's the bit to kind of remember. It's not just about the money; it's about connecting, especially a company like yours, right? So we've had a few kind of good conversations in the past. So remind people how you would describe yourself as a company or as a business.
So look, Impact, we set that up originally to discover a world-class ore body.
Which you haven't done yet.
We certainly haven't. We spent a lot of money, as you like to remind me, on trying to do that.
Right.
And that's because they're rare beasts.
Yeah.
And you can point to probably two recent ones in WA over the last 5-6 years. There's obviously De Grey with a massive discovery up in the Pilbara, 10 million ounces of gold. And then obviously more recently, Julimar, only 70 kilometres outside Perth, which we're all kicking ourselves about even now. Yeah. They're few and far between. So, and of course lithium, some of the big lithium things that have been found. So.
Absolutely, a big year for lithium in Australia last year, so in terms of valuations. So let's run through the portfolio, because companies like yourself and the model that you have, you're going hunting a world-class asset, you've got to kiss a few frogs, right? You've got a lot of frogs in your portfolio. How's it going? Let's start with the IGO JV.
Yeah.
Any update? So
I'll just take a step back. So the recent strategy, and that's been driven as much by market conditions. That juniors do what they have to do to survive over the years. We pivoted a couple of years ago back to WA on the back of the Julimar discovery. We're now a big ground holder there. We're generating some very significant anomalies. But it's a much better bang for our buck in terms of trying to find a big deposit that continue to explore the other two key projects that we still have in the eastern states, which is Broken Hill, where we have a joint venture with IGO over part of it, and also part of the recent VHP Explore program. And then we also have our Commonwealth project in the Lachlan Fold Belt copper gold province there, which we're sort of doing a spin out at the moment. So it's being driven by the fact, look, we still have great belief in those projects. I wouldn't have picked them up in the first place if I didn't believe there was a world-class ore body there. It's just that it has turned out to be more difficult and require a lot more money than we anticipated, first of all. And so getting a better bang for a buck in WA, and so we're trying to monetize as best we can the other project.
Right, okay, you, like everyone else last year, got absolutely belted with the cost of share price, okay? You need a decent balance sheet to kind of advance these projects through. And if you're saying to me, we're trying to find a world-class asset, that's going to take a ton of money. So I appreciate your ability to kind of kill projects quickly. We discussed that ad nauseum, and I appreciate that about you, and that's why I'm very happy to have you keep coming back on. You were trying to flog a dead horse and deliver a lifestyle company. That's not what you're about. But like, and getting the JVs in is good. Using someone else's balance sheet to advance potentially world-class projects is good. But if you were going to go out, so with the rest of your portfolio and try and work out whether they are, whether they're not, how do you manage that kind of, the money side of things? How do you get money in? Non-dilutive money in, ideally. Is it just kind of romping your way through the current portfolio until there's nothing left, or have you got other plans?
So we're always on the lookout for for other projects, but we've had some fairly eclectic projects over the years, and including Commonwealth. It's a very unique gold, silver, massive sulfide deposit, very similar to the Escape Creek project, which is a world famous deposit in BC. This is the only one like it in Australia, and we've had it for a while, but it appears to be quite small, but it needs a lot of deep drilling. And again, in terms of where we are, the amount of money we spent, etc., we're better off getting somebody else to de-risk ourselves doing that. Broken Hill, we originally got in there for a fairly eclectic, high-grade nickel copper PGE thing, and that's what we've got IGO interested in. They have drilled a hole. We're waiting for assay results on that. We're probably not anticipating huge numbers out of that, but they're still very interested in what's going on. And then we have the bigger Broken Hill area, now part of the Explore. So the way that I've always looked at it is if you consider a normal distribution, you're looking for stuff. The world-class things are out here on the edge of the curve. Yeah. Normally 2, 3, or 4 standard deviations, perhaps. Some of the things that we've looked at over the year, probably 5, 6, or 7 deviations away there, in the hope that we'll pick something that's very special.
But is that smart? Because it's kind of not working to date, really. People are looking in at the share price, market cap, so it's a long time.
Yeah.
So why don't you go a bit more conventional? What's the upside to doing this eclectic stuff?
Yeah. If you look at the history of most small mining companies, not the explorers, but the ones that get into production, most of them don't last very long. And most of them don't get a market cap that's above 200 mil max. And they grind it out, for years, because it's quite clear that if it's a one mine company, they need to merge as quickly as possible with another one, build Beaumont, Northern Star, and build it up. There's been so many, and we can name 3 now. The Red River, Thalanga fell over, and that was it, into administration, and they've been grinding it out for years. Gascoigne, Wiluna, it's like they're just, and they've spent their lives, trying to get that. Now that's great because they never paid a dividend. Market cap never got above 150. Whereas you look at a De Grey or Julimar, $1 billion market cap, and then they haven't even turned a sod of earth. So to me, that's what we're looking for.
Okay.
And as we've discussed before, we'll do that until the directors or the shareholders tell us that no, we'd rather you did something different.
So I kind of really clearly talked about kissing frogs, but it's a kind of tree. You kind of got to rip your way through a few of these things before you have success.
Yeah.
And the exploration leverage in terms of the upside can be great, but mostly it never comes to pass.
Yeah. And like many explorers, I think we all dream of finding the big one. That's actually our stated aim.
Yeah.
We're not actually, as I say, I'm not here to find 100,000 ounce a year, gold producer. Yeah. Rather sell that and and sort of move on. So, but look, we've had the fundamental.
That doesn't appeal right now. 100,000 ounce a year gold producer seems to be what people are looking for.
Yeah, well, they're looking for that because that's actually what the market is, the minimum threshold.
Yeah.
The market's going to pay any attention to whatsoever. And it takes just as long to get that into production as it'll take Julimar to get into production.
Right.
It's a long process, to get there. So if we found a million ounces and we got a 7-year mine life, it's going to take 5 years to get into production. You spent, tens of millions of dollars, and then you're a one mine company that's not producing a lot of stuff. That's just not me. That's not what I'm about. So other people are doing that, and good luck to them.
Okay, so you've got to have a very strong view on how people value companies and what type of companies people value today. Because I think it's like esoteric commodities like PGEs, even cobalt.
Yeah,
most people don't understand. They're kind of quite opaque markets, and because they don't understand, they don't invest. So I'm trying to understand the sorts of things you're looking for. So can you say that it's a exotic or esoteric project, but a conventional commodity, in which case people could possibly wrap their heads around it?
Yeah.
Rather than this constant desire to do the hardest thing available.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's more the projects. So,
right. Okay.
Back before battery metals, strategic metals, critical metals was a trendy phrase to use. We were a nickel, copper, PG explorer with a bit of gold and silver. So I always call it the top 5. Anyway, if you're looking outside those, for zinc and lead, they're even more cyclical.
Yeah.
And they have their time in the sun, things like that. Now you can add lithium to that. So we've actually never done, all the projects we've ever had have been for those, those 5 commodities. but I made a strategic mistake by not getting into lithium, because the lithium's a bulk commodity. In fact, all of these things, strategic metals, battery metals, critical metals, most of them are bulk commodities, and there's more than enough of them. Rare earths aren't rare, as I'm sure you're aware. They're all there. So
got that.
So getting a deposit that's going to survive through the cycle, you've got to be first. You need to be the first to market, the biggest, the lowest cost. Otherwise you won't get through the
right. Cycle. So it sounds like you're trying to be a purist here in the sense that I need a world-class asset. There's also a market game to be done. You've got to keep the investors on board. You've got to be able to raise cheaper capital. With share prices trending down generally for everyone last year, and yourselves. You were hit hard. Don't you feel that you kind of got to reduce that kind of purist attitude to what good looks like?
For sure. And we've been fortunate with our flagship Arkham project in WA, in that it was a grassroots area, no previous work done there, no soils, no nothing through that area, apart from some regional geochemical stuff done 15 years ago. And that's what led us into the area. And so we've generated nickel copper PG anomalies, we've generated some lithium anomalies, we've generated rare earth anomalies, and that's no different to having a bit of greenstone belt in the Pilbara. It sounds like a smorgasbord, but it's just a function of the type of rocks there. We've ended up in, like people are saying, the goldfields, generating anomalies for all of those metals, and significant anomalies, big anomalies, and that's what people want.
But I don't think they do. I don't think they want anomalies. I don't think they want targets. I think they want discovery. So that's the key phrase here.
That's very true. They want discovery, but they realise that these are the signals of a big deposit, right? And that's really the target audience. I mean, people come investing in my shares because we want the world class thing. I'm as I say, I'm trying to promise them a tenfold. And I've been promising for a long time. And people realise that. We've had people in the stock for a long time, and
well, it's a tenfold or lose your money. It's fairly binary, at this point, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. I think there's a lot of investors who don't mind that, and they understand that.
And it's a speculative risk. I think we've mentioned that before. I mean, it's a gamble. You shouldn't be putting money into impact that you can't afford to lose.
Exactly.
And it's a speculation. So they don't use that word very often in Australia. But we are a nation of gamblers. So hence the what's the word? The vibrancy of the exploration sector. People all across Australia raising money, raised billions. Even last year it was down a bit, but certainly the start of the year. And people put money in because they're speculating. Yeah.
So with your are you going to continue to use your portfolio in terms of either offloading or spinning out or JVing, or you've still got enough decent assets there which might attract a little bit of money? And because the thing about saying, we picked up so we flipped to that and we've got a 1% royalty on it. It's like, well, who cares? If you can be around to monetize that, that's right. Great. Yeah. Right now, show me the cash to allow you to do the things you want to do. Just go find yourself a world-class asset. So can we assume that you have said that a couple of them might be world-class, and you kind of got people working on that. Can you look outside the portfolio? Have you got the ability, time, money to do that? Look outside your current portfolio. I mean, is anything coming across your desk?
Sure. So with the remit that we have to find a world-class thing, we've looked at a lot of things, over the years. Most of the things you see on the open market, they've all got a problem, but every deposit's got a problem, and things like that. But we're always looking for left of field ideas.
Okay, less competition on that front. But so I want to get more precise then, because every CEO says we're always looking all of the time. And okay, I shut up, man. Yeah. Have you seen anything recently that you're advancing, you like the look of, might actually come to fruition? Because I think if people looking at the current portfolio, they're going, well, we're kind of valuing it what we're valuing it, and you can see that every day of the week, every 5 minutes. It's not great yet. So you need to do something else. Otherwise, that's a definition of insanity. Right? So give me give me some hope that there's genuine activity outside of the current portfolio.
Sure. Well, after 16 years, I probably am certifiably insane, and from the same things. And look, if you look at our current portfolio, I mean, one of the disadvantages of the strategy of pivoting to back to WA is that we ended up with grassroots projects again. Not even any sort of drill results to sell. So last year, found ourselves, trying to market a company that's got soil anomalies. In one of the worst markets for what it was 4 or 5 years. We're very fortunate. We raised some good money in May. We launched on the worst day for the minerals market in 2 years. A renounceable rights issue, and all credit to Mahe Capital, raised us $3.5 million, and that kept us. We were able to keep going last year. We didn't have very good results in some of the drill programs, unfortunately, and that was another thing. We was like, okay, look, we have been doing this a long time. Let's have a look around and see what we can see. We've come across a few ideas. One in particular we're following up pretty strongly right now. And all I can say, I've been around too long to know things aren't done until they're done. But if it comes off, it will be what we're looking for. Yeah.
Should we leave it on that bombshell?
I think we should.
Give me that hand, because I'm going to hold you to it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're obviously you heard this conference. You're bouncing around various conferences, speaking to industry, but that's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
Come back on and tell us more when you've worked out whether you can get it across the line or you have got it across the line. That would be interesting.
We'll do that. That'll be great.